Okay, so we finally made it to part 3. Oh, sorry. We just got a new little kitten. His name is Danny, or Daniel, but we're calling him Danny. And this little guy is just exploring everything. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for all the kind words during the past 2 episodes that we've watched. A lot of you guys, yes, Danny, I know. A lot of you guys have suggested the Peter document, which we probably will. I might watch on my own because some of you said it might be too long to do a reaction video to. But I'll definitely check him out. And you guys have been teaching me a lot in the comments, which is fantastic. I really, really appreciate that. One question I do have about the whole kosher thing. Now, with the mother-in-law saying that blood is not kosher, does that mean like you could never have like a rare steak or like a a not well done burger or something like that? Danny. He's just all over everything here. Hold on a second. Or like, yeah, does every kind of meat that you guys have to be well done or like well cooked kind of thing? Let me know in the comment section, obviously, about that. Now, we're gonna jump right into this now, and it might be a little bit difficult with this guy climbing around here, but I'll make do, okay?
You hear the sirens and the noise, welcome to Brooklyn. And you know, since the pandemic, they think that crime has been getting worse here. They're even putting locks on bagels.
Oh my. Oh, that dad joke right on the start. Locks on bagels. Okay. I mean, that was a good one. I'll give him that one. I'll give him that one. So this one is called Describing Judaism. Okay. The DE is kind of small. Wow, are these the young boys here leading a sort of prayer? I know you guys had mentioned that once... Oh, sorry, that was the cat. Hold on a second. Let me see where we were. I think we're here. Yeah, okay. So I know you guys had mentioned that at a certain age, the kids can lead prayers, right?
So they're doing the morning prayers, the morning after Passover. Passover was amazing. It celebrates our freedom, the Jewish people's freedom from slavery in Egypt. But we have to celebrate the freedom from slavery every day because...
Okay, so that's kind of like the... I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the premise, but I can understand the importance of doing the prayers every day then. And how many times it's done during the day and stuff like that.
We could be slaves to society, slaves to ourselves, self-centered. So every day we have to realize that to go beyond ourselves, we have to go to something bigger and higher, which is obviously the purpose for which we were created.
Okay, I actually do like that. I can see this gentleman's doing the shuckling again.
Everyone's shuckling, the shaking.
Okay. Yes, Daniel.
During the pandemic, this...
Sorry, guys. Oh, boy. This kitten is so cute. He's a lot more affectionate than my other cat, which is the reason we got him, to kind of keep her company. But yeah, this guy's a ball of energy, so you might see him in a few more videos since he's just enjoying hanging out with me.
The place was actually closed for like 4 months. So,
that wrap seems quite tight. Interesting. Yeah. All right.
It's highly unusual because this place has never been closed for a day since it was founded in the 40s. This place is more busy than ever, more lively than ever, and celebrating the joy of life. You know, often people get so upset when there's death, but are they as equally happy or happier when there's life? You know?
That's a good point. That's a good point. A lot of people focus on the negatives and when it's a little bit too late, but it's always good to focus on the now and what's going on in your life currently, you know?
This is an old friend of mine, Rabbi
I love the black hats. It's beautiful.
Zalmanov, and he lives in Indiana, right? And Marcus is dying to find out, what are these black boxes on people's heads?
So question, how long does it take to become a rabbi? And are most men at a rabbi status? I think on the first episode, Yone said that he had been studying for 2 years and whatnot in that room. But yeah, do most men get that kind of status but don't practice maybe being a rabbi? Or is being a rabbi different than like being a priest in the Catholic Church?
They're not GoPros, that's for sure.
GoPros.
They're black leather boxes, actually made of real cowhide, and they contain 4 small scrolls, each with a handwritten passage from the Bible. 4 different.
Oh, so maybe that's what this episode is about when it was titled Described. So maybe they're going to show us how things are written, or like the scrolls or the things that go into the box for the prayers are written.
Different sections, and if you can tell, if you look up close, there's 4 sections in each one. On the head one, and on the hand one, it's all one section. So in the head version, there are 4 individual scrolls, and on the hand box, they're one long scroll that has those same 4 sections in it. And the Bible commands us to bind it on our head, between our eyes, and on our hands.
So, question: why would one be broken up into 4, but then the other one be broken up into 1 if they're containing the exact same content? Any particular reason for that?
So one of them you find by your
Oh, Danny, what are you doing, buddy? Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. Where were we?
studio.
They're black leather boxes.
I think we were here.
So one of them you find by your bicep, which is next to your heart, right? Represents your emotions. And one of the boxes goes on your head, next to your mind, which represents your intellect. So it shows that throughout the day, your emotions and your intellect should be in sync with God and your community and your fellow human beings.
Give me 1 second. Okay.
So it's a reminder. So he's wrapping it now. He's making the Hebrew letter Shin, which is the first letter of God's name. And now he's wrapping it 7 times because we each have 7 emotions.
Religious Jews do it, and obviously there are those that are more religious.
7 emotions. Okay. And Shin is the first letter of God, he said. Interesting. Okay.
Or less religious, but those that are strictly Orthodox religious will do it every morning, except for on the Sabbath. We remember God with our minds and with our hearts.
Hence on the head and on the arm closest to the heart. Gotcha. Okay.
Welcome to Brooklyn. And
That's one noisy city, man.
I miss this place. Passover means the scribe. Don't worry, I'll describe everything to you. Okay, we're in. And here they make.
I hope that the sirens aren't as constant as they are in this video, because that would drive me a little bit bonkers if all I heard was sirens all day long.
Judaica items, ritual items, which are used pretty much every day in the Jewish faith by hand from scratch. So they make these the way they've been making them for thousands of years, not with computers and not with machines, but rather they write every letter that goes on the parchment by hand with a quill.
Now, silly question, but would there be any lack of importance, or would it be less special if it wasn't done with a pen and a quill and it was done by computer, or like a printing device of some sort?
The Hasofer, the Scribe, and I told him, don't worry, I'll describe everything to you. And they also have a YouTube channel themselves, and you could subscribe. His father-in-law is the head scribe here. He circumcised 3 of my sons, and then the 4th son, his son, circumcised. That goes back to when Abraham circumcised his son Isaac. Well, remember, we were just learning about the black boxes.
Yeah, okay, so a lot of you did mention when I had asked that question about circumcision, you had explained the whole Abraham thing. And so this gentleman is, he does, what are they called, brisses, as well as scribes for the boxes?
So because the boxes have parchments which have ink, you know, the little Torah portions, you need to make sure that the ink doesn't smudge or fade away. Twice every 7 years, you have to send those black boxes with the parchments inside of them to the scribe. And the scribe does a mini surgery. He cuts open the stitching, takes out the parchments, analyzes them.
Oh, so once everything is inputted into the box, it's closed up and you can't get into the box until this gentleman undoes all of the stitching. Wow, okay. 7 years is a pretty long time. I wonder why they would be fading though, if they're just in the box the whole time.
Ensure that the letters are still written correctly.
So it's like you get them serviced.
Exactly. It's like an oil change.
Also, what does he do with them when they're not, I guess, in good condition? Because I think somebody was saying you can't write the word God if you're going to be getting rid of it. I believe it was, like, if you're tossing it away. So, so maybe do these portions not have the word God? Or is it just substituted with another word that you guys typically use? And then it's okay to get rid of them if they are old or damaged or worn out kind of thing?
Everything has to be done, written by hand and reviewed in person. But because we live in the age of technology, they came up with some technology via the computer that you could be more, accurate, or you could double check. But nothing replaces the personal touch here. So there's nothing more personal than a handwritten letter, which
okay, so that sort of answered my previous question. Yeah,
we forget in the days of email and text. The actual workroom, Hasidic sort of art studio.
man, I don't even know where you would get like black ink, unless he's using like a black paint as his ink, and he just maybe waters it down a little bit.
The parchment which they write on starts off with the hide of a kosher animal. This is not paper from a tree. It went from this to this. So they take the feather, they cut it down.
Okay, so they go pretty in depth with like tanning the hide and making it into a writable piece of paper, and then with the feather they'll actually cut the tip and then use that as the quill
ever so carefully until it becomes this little point, and it's called a kulmis, but it's a quill, and they start writing the Hebrew letters using ink. The best ink comes from gall nuts from Aleppo, Syria. How are the boxes?
So yeah, and then you gotta get the nuts, the ink from a nut from Syria. Very, very crazy that it's such a large production for, I guess, some would consider such a small thing like these little scrolls.
Those are not wooden boxes. Those are boxes that come from usually a cow or a calf, and they come from the hardest piece of skin, which is from the cheekbone. This is how it starts off.
Wow.
And they usually do this in Israel. They mold it.
Oh my god! And then that's done in Israel, and then what? Sent over to New York? Holy!
And they mold it until eventually it turns into 4 boxes. And eventually it starts looking like this. At some point, it looks like this.
Ah, so that's why it has the 4 compartments, because so each box is made by one jaw section. That's a lot of jaws. Or maybe you could do 2 per cow, maybe, or calf. But okay, now I understand why it's 4 individuals. But again, couldn't they have just made it like the center block, and then from there, I don't know. This is fascinating. Wow.
This is, again, this is not from wood, those black boxes. It's from skin. But they harden it until it becomes super hard because they don't want it to get damaged. Reshape it again. It's turning into 4 boxes. And then here we go. Look at this.
That is crazy. I would have never thought that that's how that was made. I actually thought it was just a flat out wooden box that was painted black. But that makes a lot of sense. So once it's gotten to this final stage of hardening, is it are they still breakable? Because this thing seems pretty durable.
The last step is they paint it with the ink. They put in the parchments. As you can see here, these are the parchments written with the Hebrew alphabet, different portions from the Bible. Now, sometimes they could be very large, the boxes, like the ones we saw in the synagogue. But look at this. Look how small they could be. Travel size.
What? That's a box? Wow, that is very, very tiny. What would be the purpose of that one? Just so you don't have to have the bigger, bulky one?
Is every pair of tefillin has the Hebrew letter shin, which has 3 legs. But if you notice, 3 stems on the Hebrew letter shin, which is the first letter of God's name. Turn on the other side, the shin has 4 legs.
I will say the auto-focusing is not very good on this guy's camera. It's focusing on the wrong things, like his hand or his shirt, not really the item that he's showing.
Legs. Why is that?
There we go.
Well, 3 forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 4 mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Also 3 plus 4 is 7, the branches of the menorah in the Holy Temple. Most people don't even know that because you just sort of take it for granted.
So why is there 4 mothers but only 3 fathers outside of the 7, the number equaling 7? Yeah, I guess that's just my question. Why only 3 men and 4 women? Or
And this is the holiest artifact in Judaism, the Torah scroll. Now, as kids were told, if God forbid a Torah scroll falls on the floor in the synagogue, for example, you have to fast for 40 days.
whoa, that's a long fast. So I guess that's why it's kept in those like those Torah boxes.
And one of the parts of the ceremony in the synagogue when you read the Torah scroll is you lift up the Torah scroll. So some of them are very big and heavy. So we're always very careful to get somebody who had their Wheaties that morning.
Yeah, somebody's got to have some strength to hold those things up, because that looks like a heavy, very heavy scroll.
Prepare yourself. You're about to enter into a holy space. Welcome to the Torah scroll room. You can see there are dozens and dozens of Torah scrolls.
Wow, even the thing to hold the scroll, that would be heavy too. That would, I would imagine. Now, question is, each one of these Torah scrolls the exact same scroll, or is each one like a chapter or a section of something?
Literally sent from every corner of the globe. So some of the Torah scrolls are very large, as you can see, and some of them are very small, tiny, like this one right over here. Every single letter that's written in the Torah scroll, which is the 5 books of Moses, it starts off with the most famous verse, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and earth," and it ends with, Moses' death, and the Jewish people are entering into the land of Israel.
Wow, okay. Yeah, a lot of these look pretty weathered. A lot of them look well kept. Very interesting. These are a lot of scrolls. And question, why would they be sending them to this gentleman? Is it because he's such a good scriber that he can go over and maybe fix one, or he double checks them, or is it just this is like a Torah storage?
Now, even if one small letter in the Hebrew alphabet that's written in the Torah is disfigured, it could render the whole Torah puzzle, as we call it, not kosher and not be fit to be read. So let's say you're reading it in a synagogue and the reader comes across one letter that looks not so kosher to him. What do? Can you continue? Do you have to stop the whole congregation? So what they do is they call up a child who's learning the Hebrew alphabet.
Wow, okay. So that's pretty intense. Even if one little thing is off by a little bit, or to you, you're getting a little feeling that it's not right, you might have to go through this.
And they say, is that an aleph or a beis? If the kid gets it right, you could keep on reading. If the kid says the wrong letter that shows that it's not kosher, you got to stop right there and wrap it up and send it to a place like this. This one is different than the rest of them because the parchment which it's written on is much darker. Back in Spain and Portugal, several hundred years ago, they wrote on deer skin.
Portugal. That's pretty cool. Spain and Portugal, they use deer skin instead of the cow. Interesting.
And they recently found this in Portugal, this Torah scroll, which may have been hidden during the Holocaust. Unfortunately, it's beyond repair, so it's going to go back to Portugal and be displayed in the synagogue, but not fit for use. This is the...
So it can still be displayed and people can still, I guess, look / sort of read it, but it can't be used for what the Torah is typically used for. Interesting.
Fill in the black boxes. Look, that's Hebrew, that Hebrew writing. There we go. These scrolls are what are called mezuzahs, because on every doorpost in every Jewish home besides the restroom, they have these little parchments, as you can see, like right here. So
in an apartment building that I used to work in, majority of the doors would have these on them or by them, and I always wondered what they were, and then I learned later on that what they were, because one of the people who lived in the building told me about it. But sometimes I would see them kind of knocked over, or they didn't look as secure as they should be.
Let's say if you have a big house, that's a lot of mezuzahs. Now, in the mezuzahs, you have, handwritten by a scribe, the most famous prayer in Judaism. As you can see, the first line, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, God is one." In Hebrew, that's Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Here, actually, they train scribes to become expert scribes. As you can see here on the dry erase board, they're showing them between each letter, there's a certain distance. These are the crowns on each letter.
Oh, wow. So maybe this also would show, like, when it's in this glass casing that they put it in, the way it kind of magnifies out from the glass, it would manipulate the lettering, so you have to do it maybe a little bit wider so that it comes out looking more normal, kind of thing. That's what I'm getting from like this. I could be wrong though.
It gets very intricate, very detailed, and as I said before, the scribes, they're highly trained, they're highly skilled, and they're highly dangerous. They're using sharp instruments. Okay.
Even this guy knows that his jokes sometimes are a little on the questionable side, you know?
Every type of race and religion is welcomed here in Crown Heights, welcomed into the synagogue, into my Hasidic home, and we take groups to the Scribe. We show them the ritual bath, and it's all in a way of getting to know each other, in a way of...
Oh, the ritual bath. We saw that in one of our music videos. But that'd be interesting. Maybe there will be a part 4 to this and he'll show us that. Also, I wonder how often he does these little tours.
Talking about the most important, fundamental issues in life. So I look forward to seeing everyone. If you want to reach out to us, feel free to visit jewishbrooklyn.nyc or go on Airbnb Experiences and check out Hasidic Brooklyn. I just did a promo. Ouch.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess this is probably the last one of the 3. But no, that was really cool. Marcus Hessenberg, very nicely done. Appreciate it. All right. Well, you guys let me know what you thought in the comment section below on this one. As I said, I might check out the Peter documentary ones, maybe on my own time, depending on how long they are. Some people said that they might be too long to react to, but no, I definitely enjoyed these. Maybe I'll look for more kind of videos like this, so that I could educate a little bit more. And yeah, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below, and see you next time. For me and Danny.